Aloha Manga Club, it's your boy Lohali signing in with another episode of the Manga Club. And today we are joined by the PromG. He goes by Chris. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, my friend. Very productive day filming videos, and yeah, I'm excited to be here.
I mean, that sounds like a great day. Like, I got off work early. We started messaging back and forth, and we realized, hey, we could do this a little bit earlier in the day. I still have full energy, and I'm not completely tired
That's
of,
good. That's good.
of anything that happens at work. I'm excited for this conversation because just like when we had Nick, East Coast Manga, on here, you are a newer manga tuber in the community, and I love getting to pick your guys' brains because you're coming in, you're seeing what's been done in the past, you're seeing where you want to go in the future, and everything that you do is really kind of centered around being different while trying to fit into the community, and I think that's amazing.
hmm
And one thing
Yeah.
that I really enjoy about your videos is you've done skits, and that's something that I personally enjoy doing. I've done a I think it was a 15-minute long skit video making fun of how to manga haul.
Yep, I
And
remember that one.
it's so enjoyable getting to see you guys do this kind of stuff. So just give us the basics. What got you into, collecting manga in the first place?
So, I think most people have or at least a lot of people have this same story where, they watch Pokemon, they watch Yu-Gi-Oh on like 4Kids, and then they kind of realize that there's this whole other world besides cartoons. And that's kind of what happened with me. I was a huge fan of Yu-Gi-Oh. I played the card game as well as like Pokemon card game as well. And eventually I went to the book fair at middle school and I saw that there was Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal in this book. So I was like, what is this, And I picked it up and it was just awesome. I kept reading it over and over again. I got into series like Ultimo, Siren from Shonen Jump. And yeah, I took a kind of a break actually until maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, where I noticed there was half price books next to the store where I work, the grocery store. So I went in there after, yeah, I know you're a fan of HPB. And I went in there after work and I was looking at their manga selection. I'm like, they had way more than I thought they would. So I picked up a few volumes and yeah, the rest is history. It's been going
It's
ever since.
been a terrible addiction ever since
It,
then, right?
I wouldn't say terrible, terrible for the wallet for sure though.
It's the worst for the wallet. Like,
Yeah.
it's bad. It's very, very, very bad. But now you're making videos on it. You've made 28 videos.
28?
Not 20, sorry. 28, I believe, in the last month. 28 days. You've made a lot. Like,
I would have thought I made 28 total. I don't keep track.
I think I'm scrolling through right now because I'm trying to count. 1, 2, 3 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, exactly 28 videos, which is kind of what I was thinking. And you've had just insane amounts of growth. Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Dude,
Yeah.
my mind's blown. It used to take manga tubers like years to get
Yeah.
past 700, and you and Nick have both done it in like months.
Yeah, I hit 700 today. That was crazy. This is like the third week in a row where I've had like 100 subs in 1 week, back to back to back. So, yeah,
It's
growth has been crazy.
in the past month. Like, I'm taking a look at it because I love stats. I love looking at all this stuff. In the past
Same.
30 days, you've grown by 333 subscribers. That's
That's crazy.
that's incredible.
hmm Yeah, I don't know if you know this about me, but I actually did have a Call of Duty channel before I started uploading. I took like a 3 year break before I went from Call of Duty to manga videos, and I did that for like 2 years, and I barely broke 100 subs. So like having this amount of growth so fast is just crazy because I grinded so hard on Call of Duty, never saw any growth, but now it's like I'm doing something I really enjoy, and the growth is just speaks for itself, really.
Dude, that's great. And one thing that I want to point out is you had a channel in the past, so you had, I don't want to say an advantage over other people
hmm
necessarily, but you kind of understood how to get things, how to upload videos. You understood a lot of the trepidation that stops people from creating in the first place. You're like, I know how to make a video. I've done it before. I know how to edit. I've done it before. I know how to do all of this. So you were able to come into full force and kind of have fun. Did you do screen capturing when you did Call of Duty, or was it just screen capturing and audio? Like, what did you do?
So it's funny that you mentioned that. Like I know how to edit, I know how to record a video. All I used was the base software that the PS4 gave you. So I did. I don't know if you know Share Factory if you play any games, but basically you double tap a button on the controller, it starts recording, and then you go into this this software where all you can do is split clips and trim clips. That's basically it. So that's what I had to work with. So there was still a lot of learning curve when it came to going from Share Factory to Vegas and like Audacity and all that too. But yeah, I definitely had an advantage when it comes to like running a channel in that regard.
And that's absolutely great. And you're right. There's a difference between just trimming clips and actually putting together a full solid video. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is that first video. Remember when you first made your first Call of Duty video? Were you nervous? Like, were you just like, I'm gonna record, I'm gonna upload it, I don't know what's gonna happen, and you're a little intrepid there?
Yeah, I was, because especially with a scene like Call of Duty, like there's so many viewers in that area. At least there was.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing it back when Advanced Warfare was the game, so maybe like 4 years ago, but or maybe I guess 5 now. And there was like all eyes on Call of Duty, so I thought, I'm gonna get so many people watching my videos, which obviously wasn't the case, but I was nervous. You can hear my voice if I ever unlist that video. I'll like send it to you or something. But
Oh my god.
yeah, timid 14-year-old PromG, hilarious.
And now you're just sitting here, you're excited, you're
Oh, yeah.
ready to go, and you have a direction, and it's really, really cool. So, what are kind of your hopes for your channel going forward?
I haven't really thought about it. Well, my hope obviously is just to keep growing, because the more I grow, obviously, the more comments I get, and the more I get to interact about manga, which I'm just so passionate about. I absolutely love talking with people about it, whether it be YouTube comments, Instagram, Twitter, all those things. So hopefully, I'll keep growing, and I'll have more people just to talk to manga about. And as I do that, hopefully, I'll venture out. Like you said, more skits, because that was one of the most fun videos I ever recorded. And yeah, just coming from a place where I grinded so hard and got like no return on it when I did Call of Duty videos, I'm just really excited to see all the opportunities I'll have from a channel where I actually have like active viewers and stuff like that.
Which, again, you've been doing an incredible amount of work.
Yeah, thank you.
It's I'm so and I'm big enough to admit I'm jealous. We didn't have like I didn't have this kind of growth when I first started making videos. My videos didn't look half as good. Like, you're doing an amazing job at every single thing, and you have multiple videos already that have over a few thousand views.
Yeah.
I think, taking a look at your videos, one of your most popular ones has 5.2 thousand views. That's your manga collection. Then you
Oh,
have
wow.
your you didn't even
I
1
didn't
month
even know,
ago. The best
You're
way to start a channel is with a manga collection or a manga haul. 100%. That gets you
Yeah.
the most views and the most people in front. And like, coming from me, like, your thumbnails are really good. They're really crisp. They're really simple, and they're really easy to read. And that makes everything so much more accessible for people around you.
hmm Yeah, I 100% agree with what you said about uploading a manga haul first. And if there are any like new creators or people who are thinking about getting into creating, I highly recommend doing that. My plan going in was, I do a haul and I do the manga log just to get the most eyes on me, and I sprinkle in some reviews and then some more personal content like the skit, just to kind of have a foundation for people to watch my videos before I put like effort in. Not like I didn't put effort into my hauls, but like when I really put myself out there with the skits and the reviews and stuff like that, just want to have more people already in the channel and engaged before I, upload those videos.
Yeah, and I did it the complete wrong way. I started
Did
with
you?
my phone. Oh yeah, no, I started with my phone like vertical, so I was like, it didn't
Classic.
look good. I had the light both on top and slightly behind me. I didn't have a microphone. It was absolutely, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I just came in, I was like, all right, I'm gonna start shooting a video. I
Yep.
did it, and I think my very first one, if I look back, was an Eden Zero review.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, that was my first big claim to. I was one of the very first manga tubers to review it, but I was also a brand new manga tuber, so it was absolutely pointless for me to make that video. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, because no one was gonna watch a brand new manga series chapter review. Realistically, because everyone was so disappointed by Fairy Tail, not to mention the fact that Fairy Tail actually continued on with the 100-year quest.
Yeah, I don't know too much about Fairy Tail, but I'm definitely aware of the amnesty a lot of people have towards it. Uh, yeah,
It's not. The first half wasn't bad. First half was okay-ish.
Hmm.
Ish.
Like I said before we started the video, yeah, like I watched Fairy Tail and I enjoyed it. Maybe that's just because I was in middle school and I was like one of the first anime I watched, but I enjoyed it a decent amount.
I mean, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, it's
But
fun.
with I'm just so excited to see your personality, like see everything that you're doing.
Hmm.
And what kind of videos are you thinking about making? I know you said you want to do more skits. What do you want to see more from the community as a whole? Like where do you think we can go and grow?
Man, I was thinking about this the other day, and I think, like you said, and like I said, I guess more skits and more of these personal videos, kind of breaking away from the hauls and reviews are great, but breaking away from those kinds of videos and just doing more personal content because you see a lot of manga tubers and a lot of people just watch manga videos for to see what people are picking up just because they like watching that type of video. But a lot of people like watching creators, especially manga tubers, for their own personality. And I feel like with haul videos and these like collection videos, a lot of the time it doesn't really shine through. Obviously, there are lots of exceptions, but I feel like the more we start breaking away into more creative videos, whether it be also like Elias is doing some like that Vinland Saga video where she did like kind of a documentary on the history of Vinland Saga, like super creative stuff. And I feel like the more we have of that, the better the manga community will grow and the more viewership we'll have.
And there's an interesting question that's kind of been talked about a little bit, especially with a few of the people that I get to have discussions with.
Mhm.
And for me, the really big question right now is it still MangaTube if you talk about anime?
Hmm. Yeah, this is another thing I've thought about. I've been super reluctant to talk about anime. Like I've gotten asked a couple times, what are your top 10 manga or top 10 anime? Talk about this anime, and I'm not sure, honestly.
So
Bec- yeah, like I'll say I feel like there's a separation, a clear line between anime YouTube and manga YouTube. I feel like there's some channels who cross, but I feel like there's different audiences, even though they're similar and oftentimes the same series. There's completely different audiences at times.
they're very very different audiences, but I think part of what's happening is we've created a hard line in the sand. We're saying, "Oh, we're MangaTube," when in
Hmm.
reality we should be the way that we're, and this is coming from more of a mental marketing standpoint, um, is we're calling ourselves MangaTube and they're calling themselves AnimeTube. When in all reality, we're OtakuTube. Like
Yep.
combined, we all love manga, we all love anime, we love the culture that it has brought over to us. You know,
Hmm.
and in my personal opinion, I think that in the next 6 to 9 months, 6 months to a year, we're going to see a good shift of creators talking more about overall otaku culture, like both anime, manga, light novels. And we're going to
Hmm.
see this absolutely explosive growth because I'm going to be honest here. BookTube is bigger than MangaTube, much bigger.
Oh
But
yeah,
AnimeTube is absolutely massive. So
that's
as
right.
a creator, if you're somebody who's trying to do this for a living, which I think there are people who want to do this for a living. I myself am one of them. I don't
Hmm.
always do it the right way. I experiment way too much. Um, but what's the point of restricting yourself to a smaller niche when you can talk about the positive aspects of otaku culture overall?
Yep.
Manga, anime, light novels, collectible pops, all of that stuff. And I think in the next year, we're going to start to see a transition in the conversation from that, from just that hard line in the sand that we currently have to just a little bit more overall.
Yeah, I really agree with you, and I hope that you're right in that regard. I don't know why I separated myself and why I'm afraid to talk about anime on my channel. Because I don't know, something's been in my mind telling me like if I upload a video about anime, people who subscribed only for manga, like so far, like they won't care. But in reality, that's like completely backwards. And like you said, there are a lot of people who want to do this for a living, and myself included. In a perfect world, I would like to do this as a for a career. And you've seen a couple examples of that in the anime manga community. So I think it's definitely possible if we make the transition from just being manga to, like you said, otaku culture. So hopefully that will be a thing that will happen, and definitely something I'll try to transition in with my channel.
I mean, what's the word? Here's my point of view. What's the worst thing that happens right now if a video fails to you? Are you making any money off of it?
Nope.
Did you? I mean, you spent time, but did you learn something when you were making that video?
Yeah.
So
Nothing to
then,
lose.
if you're, in my opinion, as a smaller creator, and I don't count somebody as a big creator until they're making money, and even then, it depends on the if you're doing this for a living. I understand being a little bit more cautious about what you're doing. But if you're small, not making any money, you're seeing good growth. Like right now, with the amount of growth that you're seeing, maybe putting out anime content isn't the way to go until you see, a slowdown. Then you can try it out. But the worst thing that can happen right now is you hit a speed bump and you have to slow down for a split second, rearrange yourself, and you go, okay, this is what I learned from that video. These were the positives. These were the negatives. Like yesterday, I posted a video about Hajime no Ippo at 10 a.m.
Yeah,
I know better. I know better than to post a video at 10 a.m., but I wanted to see what happened, and it was super shitty. It was absolutely trash. Like I got a very, very poor number of views, but over the past day, it's increased, and I think that's something. I'm like, okay, I learned something. I can make a chapter review video. Don't post it at 10 a.m.
It's like chapter 1300 or something like that.
1304.
Yep.
And I enjoyed the thumbnail. I thought the thumbnail was really cool looking. Like I enjoyed the way that it looked. But I'm the worst titler in MangaTube. Hands down. Like somebody's like,
so?
this isn't like, I don't mean to brag, but I am the worst at titling videos. I sit there and I'm like, this could be a great one. This could be an even better one. It just doesn't work. I would honestly, if I could pay somebody to come up with titles for my videos, I would do it in a heartbeat because it just makes sense. It saved me a lot of headache. Oh, look at this.
We'll see. That business mind is at work. Gears are turning.
Oh, that salesman. I can appreciate that.
No, but yeah, titles can be hard. Sometimes I've had videos. It's like I don't even know what I want to call this. Like, for example, the skit video. I obviously want to put manga in the title because people want to look for a manga video, and that's what they're going to look for. But other than that, it's like, what do I even title this? Because there aren't really any keywords I could use to put myself higher in the rankings. And I think that video actually has over 1,000 views. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, something happened.
Hey, guess what? That's all that you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I've noticed is some of your content is, very short term, but some of it's also more evergreen content, stuff that's going to be out there for a while and people are going to look for a while, and I think that's huge. I mean, granted, you do have a picture of, your March monthly manga reading log. You have Sundome in the thumbnail.
Yep.
Definitely not judging you. I know that one by sight, so it's okay.
Yeah.
That should tell you how bad I am if I can recognize that. It's not a good sign. It was such a weird manga though. Like, it was super weird. That end. Did you make it to the end?
No, I'm at volume 10, I think. I've been going pretty slow, but
that ending is ridiculous. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Is it true that you have to read 21st in order to get like the full ending to know who the friend is? Because I heard that, but I was like, seriously?
It doesn't matter. It's just you get to the end and you're like, I don't know how I feel about my soul right now.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
It's like you're just like, oh, okay, weird.
Weird.
Like weird is all that I can say, and I've read some weird stuff. Like My Balls was a weird manga.
Can't say I've heard of that one.
I think it might be a Osunji. I can never say that. It's
Sounds
about
right.
a demon that gets trapped in a man's testicle.
He wreaks havoc or something, or
No,
like,
it's just
like Parasite.
Think like super. It's real ecchi, like bordering hentai, real ecchi. A very sexy, seductive female demon gets trapped in a guy's nuts, and another female demon tries to get him to.
I was thinking it was a male demon for some reason. I was like,
nope,
interesting.
Nope. That is
not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was
not that there's anything. No. This is a female demon trying to get a guy who has a female demon. Yeah, that's the entire plot, and it's weird. I mean, not as trippy as Ultimo was. Like that was a very strange one to read.
You say Ultimo?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how I felt it. Like, I read part of it, and I was like, I don't know how the artwork was great, but I didn't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, that manga was kind of all over the place at times, I felt.
Like,
And
Stan Lee, get your shit together.
honestly, yeah, like a genius, but come on.
And then you have such inflammatory titles like Gantz manga review, worst manga ever.
Oh my, I was hoping you'd mention this video, to be honest. That I can't believe that's my most viewed manga review. And honestly, I'm not mad because that's one of my favorite videos I've uploaded. But if anyone watching doesn't know that video, that was an April Fool's joke. Like I'm very vocal about how much I love Gantz, and I get like a bunch of dislikes on that video and comments saying like, "Oh, you're a hypocrite. Everything you say contradicts itself." It's like,
You're
come
like,
on.
you're like, guys, this was posted on April 1st.
Yeah,
Do
and
you
I
not
pinned the
understand?
comment. I pinned the comments like before you get too upset, check the upload date and stuff. But to this day, I still get comments on that video like,
Don't worry, I've
"Man, you're
gone
just
through and
evil."
liked it for you.
Thank you,
You have
thank you.
that. You have a very positive thumbs up thing right now.
Awesome.
I think that's what it's called. Thumbs up. Yeah, thumbs up. They
Thumbs
change the
up
name
thing
all
is
the
good.
time. Whatever. It's
Yeah.
Reddit is upvote downvote, so it's okay. It
Mhm.
boggles my mind. But yeah, no, we all know that I not the biggest fan of Gantz.
Mhm.
Not really.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. It's not for everybody.
And that's a beautiful thing about manga. Manga doesn't have to be for everybody. But
Yep.
there are certain series that everybody has to read legally. You're legally required to read certain series.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's
Like
be
One
honest.
Piece.
One Piece, 100% legally required. If you don't read it, you're wrong. If you don't think it's the best manga and anime of all time, you're inherently stupid, and I hate you.
So technically, I'm a felon because I haven't read it yet. I own it, so I'm like, I'm a criminal. Maybe not a felon, but
You're like, you have a misdemeanor right now. You own it, like, you have to pay the government some money, but we're watching you.
I already spent enough money on this hobby, man.
You've
I don't know my
contributed
luck can take it.
you've contributed to the cause.
That's good. That's good.
I mean, so that's acceptable. But you do one thing that I think some other manga creators shy away from. You really love rare manga.
Yep. It is what I live and breathe, and it's what I get out of bed in the morning. Honestly,
What got you started on collecting rare manga?
I really don't know. To be honest, I'm trying to look at my shelf and see like where did it all go wrong. But man, I don't know.
Volume 12 of Ultimo?
I actually okay. Well, we can touch on this later, kind of with like how I've been selling manga and stuff like that. But I actually got both of those for $7, both copies of it that I had. So it wasn't even like super rare at the time. But I think, oh man, I think what I really got into rare manga was with Gantz. To be honest, it was such an obsession, and I have this like, I don't know if I want to get into it, but anxiety is something I really struggle with,
Yeah.
and like with a series, this is really bad, but I'm like a compulsive buyer. And with out of print manga, sometimes I'll obsess on a series, like I kind of do with Gantz. Like I was enjoying the series, obviously, but I kept thinking like this is going to go so out of print and so expensive that if I don't get it right now, I'm gonna buy it and it's gonna be like 3 times the price, something like that. So I cannot miss out on it right now. Like I spent so many hours, obviously a lot of money on it, and it was worth it. But like that mindset that I have that I can't really even control, I'm working on it, but it's yeah, that's one of the reasons why I think I've gotten into rare print or out of print manga, and I enjoy it. But it's definitely it's something I need to work on for sure.
The first time that I remember like hearing about rare and out of print manga was with Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Like
Oh,
that was the first like I heard of, I had the opportunity. They Half Price Books, the one that I used to frequent like consistently, had like 3 copies of the first 2 or 3 omnibuses. Like, so I could have bought it multiple times. And
mhm.
that was back when it was going for like, I think the first omnibus was almost $300 used. It was something crazy. Like, and I could have
Wow.
bought 3 of them for $10 a piece, but I didn't know. I was like, oh, what's going on here? What's this?
Mhm.
What are these? And the only rare manga that I have in my collection anymore, like actually genuinely hard to find, I would have to say is my collection of Bokurano.
That's a series I'm going to be gunning for pretty soon here, just because I was actually watching the Manga Club episode with you and Uchu Shelf, I think yesterday, and you guys were talking about it, and I was just so pumped that like I need to read this.
Dude, it's dark, it's well drawn, it has mechs, it has isekai, it's everything. It's literally everything
Everything that I could possibly want.
in a manga, following small children around. Yes.
Yeah. That volume 3 though.
That is volume. What is it going for right now? It's something ridiculous.
I think I looked on Amazon when I was on a when I was taking a bathroom break at work today. It's like 50-60 bucks.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think the whole series, all 9, 11? It's 9 or 11.
I think
Somewhere
it's
in there.
11.
Yeah, I think you're right. I have a hard time remembering. But I think the whole series is going for like 150, 200 bucks.
Honestly, isn't it only volume 3 that's like super out of print?
There's one or two that are super costly. Though
Like 6 maybe.
there's
I don't know.
there's a manga that is almost that makes no sense why certain volumes are like $3.99 and other volumes are like 90, and that is Ultimate Muscle. Makes zero sense.
Oh yeah. I've seen full listings of that sale. Insane.
I sold one, like I said, for like 140, 150 bucks. And I was like, really?
It's crazy.
I looked it up before. I normally don't look anything up before I buy it unless Half Price Books has it for more than $4.99. Because I'm like, okay, why is this so expensive? Then I looked that up. I was like, okay, I'm buying this for half price at half price. We're going to call this good.
Yeah.
And then made the investment. I was like, if it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, okay. Cool.
Nothing lost, yeah.
And it sold.
Another reason why I really like rare manga collecting is just the hunt is so fun. Like going to those used shops, like Half Price Books. There's like a comic shop that I go to occasionally. I found some really, really rare stuff. Like, do you know the manga Freezing?
Yep.
Yep. I found 2 copies of the first omnibus, which I sold for like $70, $60, $70. And I'm still kicking myself because there was the third and fourth one, the second omnibus. And at the time it wasn't rare, but now it's going for like $50. I'm like, not worth it. That's the worst.
Oh man. See, and that's what I really enjoy about Half Price Books. So there's specifically one Half Price Books down here in Kansas City that'll actually take full series, or like if there's a certain amount, like 10 volumes of a series, and sell them as a bundle cheaper.
Oh wow.
And so my secret is, I'm not going to say which one does this, because if anyone's in Kansas City that's listening to this, haha, you ain't getting
I might take a road trip.
But when they do their half price thing, like, you know how they do their 20% off and their huge 50% off sales at like every so often?
Oh yeah.
You can buy that bundle for half off. So it's already discounted. I bought the entire series of Rurouni Kenshin for about $1 a manga.
Oh my. I'm definitely taking a road trip. Yeah, but you better not leak that address.
I mean, I won't. I'll message it to you privately, but there have been some. I bought all of One Piece when this happened. I got I think 30 volumes of One Piece for like $1.50 a pop.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I've had some full sets, like not these up here, but I found all but like 6 volumes of Lone Wolf and Cub at my Half Price Books. If they would have had that bundle deal, like I already got it for a great price, but like if they'd had that bundle deal, that'd been gone.
Game over
in an instant.
Well, I own more manga than some of the stores actually have on their shelves.
Yeah,
it's not healthy.
I can relate to that.
It's it's the worst. So how do you find your pricing? You said Amazon. Do you do Amazon, eBay, anywhere else?
Usually, what I'm doing when I'm on my phone, like at the Half Price Books. Let's say, for example, I saw Drops of God, which was a rare series, turns out, but I saw, I'm like, maybe I remember that being rare. So I'll go on Amazon. I'll check what it's going for, and if it's, obviously some people scalp on Amazon, like completely unrealistic prices, but yeah, I'll check on Amazon, because on your phone, you can't check sold listings on eBay. That's usually what I go like base prices off of. But just when I'm in a rush, I'll go on Amazon, see what manga is going for.
I mean, there's no other way to do it, right? I mean, that seems really effective, and that's how I found a few of the things like in my collection that I know are a little bit more expensive. The only thing that I'm holding my breath for right now is to finish off my series of the OG Dragon Ball printings.
Good luck with that, man.
In like
that's gonna be a feat.
That cream spine. That's how I read it when I was like 5 and 6, and that's like I'm giving away volumes 4, 11, and 16 of the red spine because I bought them in the cream spine.
Yep.
There's
You just got to do it.
There's
for
no
nostalgia.
other exactly. And the OG Dragon Ball was just that was my like big break into the manga scene.
Don't know if you can hear. There's a garbage truck right outside my house.
I thought that was
That's
a
great
dog for
timing.
a second.
And my dog. Yeah. There's
Okay,
all
so
sorts
it
of
was.
noises.
Hey, you know what? It's okay. I have my AC running. I've had a few motorcycles drive by so far.
Couldn't tell.
It's
We're
fine.
good.
We're good. We're fine. We're sitting
All
here
right.
lying to ourselves.
That's right. Like I do all the time.
Oh, dude, this is such a good thing. So, you've mentioned that you have a top 10 anime. Can you give me the bottom 5 of those top 10 so I don't ruin the rest of your list?
Let me check on my phone because I have a list. This might not be up to date, and I actually don't watch too much anime anymore. But okay, let's see here. Bottom. Okay, I guess I didn't even rank them. I'll just look through it. Seven Deadly Sins, Megalobox, Days. It's a soccer anime that nobody talks about, but it's absolutely amazing in my opinion.
Which one?
Days.
Hmm.
Just Days. Yeah, it's about this. It's kind of cliche, the premise. It's like a kid who isn't good at sports, but then he falls in love with running basically, and he joins the soccer team. Basically, he just runs up and down the field, and these other players mentor him. They kind of show him the way, and he just becomes like close friends with these players. It's really cool, and it was supposed to have a second or third season, but it got canceled. Just has an OVA right before the big match, which is really disappointing. But
Yeah, that's
ugh.
no.
I was waiting for like 2 years. I'm like, when is this dropping? I kept seeing articles like, oh, push back to 2016. But yep, unfortunate. Still a good anime though.
I mean, I could see that.
Mhm.
That's Ice Shield 21 actually ended right in the middle of the big series ending match, and I was so upset.
It's the worst.
I love Ice Shield 21 is like one of my favorite sports mangas.
Yeah,
Hands down. It's just so good. And then
I need to get on that. I've heard it's really good.
it's good, and it's written by the author of Dr. Stone, and it's Murata from One Punch Man is the illustrator. And that's when he has he's doing a little bit more zany drawings. Like they're not quite as realistic, but they're just so when he's like, all right, this is where the effort's gonna go. You're like, damn, back that pin up. Woo!
Yeah, I got to get on that series. That's another one that it kind of had my eye on, but it's a lot of volumes too, and
30 odd volumes. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
and I'm completely out of shelf space at the moment.
So what you're saying is you just need to get more shelves.
Yeah, but yeah, being in Iowa, the closest IKEA is like
I think it's
5 hours away.
It's either down by me or it's over in Omaha.
Mm-hmm, that's right. Yeah.
There's not one in Des Moines?
No, there's not. You'd think there would be, right?
Huh.
But actually, this is funny. My mom, she came in my room randomly, and she was like, telling me something, and she looked at my shelves. She's like, one of these weekends, let's go up to IKEA. We're gonna get you some shelves. Like, where did this come from?
Yeah, oh, okay.
Well,
I'm not gonna complain.
I'm not gonna argue. Yeah,
Road trip to either Kansas City or Omaha. I mean, it's
that's right.
as long as it's not Council Bluffs.
Oh no, I would never.
No. Council Bluffs is like the only reason why Nebraska makes fun of Iowa is because Council Bluffs is in your state. That's exclusively it. Other than that, we wouldn't have a reason to make fun of you.
Absolute trash.
It's the worst. It's the worst half city out there.
That's funny. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you got in the Midwest, you have St. Louis and East St. Louis. One's in Illinois, one's in Missouri. Again, one of them is slightly more violent, but you never hear any. No one's ever like, "Oh man, screw East St. Louis and Illinois. It's the worst."
It's getting better.
And
It's
then
getting better.
Kansas City, you're like, "Oh, you're from Kansas City," and you're like, "Nah, Kansas City is like one big city. We kind of like in city we make fun of each other. Out of city, and was like, "Oh, how's Kansas City, Kansas?" I'm like, "Are you from Kansas City?" No, I'm like, "Screw you. Like, you can't make fun of anybody." I'm like, "If you're from KCMO, you got a reason to complain." And then Omaha has Council Bluffs. It didn't even keep the same name. It was like Omaha, boom, keep it. We don't want it. It's a different city. And they Omaha annexed literally everything around them except for Council Bluffs.
I'm glad we can share this hatred for Council Bluffs.
Thank you. It's good to know that somebody born in Nebraska and somebody born in Iowa can have this kind of emotional connection. Now, if I was having this connection with somebody from Kansas, I'd be a little bit more. I don't lie. Kansas or even worse, Texas. Ugh.
Ugh. We
Ugh.
don't talk about them.
We don't need to. They're the worst. They're evil. They're mean.
Yeah.
They're mean people. So we've talked about what you're collecting. We've talked about what's on your shelves. What is your biggest purchase regret? Something that you bought, you're like, man, I'm going to be able to unhaul this. And you looked and you were like, crap. It is just collecting dust because no one wants it, no matter how rare it is.
Oh man, there have been a few things I bought that I thought would brick. Like I bought because I saw it on Amazon. Like just heave them on. Like, oh, it's this $30 volume. I'll buy it. And then I look and like, first of all, it's not in good condition. Second of all, it's more like a $15 volume. So like some Gunsmith Cat Burst volumes I bought, they sold. I made like $5. But something that I've bought to sell that I thought would do well that has bricked. I don't think there's been anything so far. I think most of my stuff is sold. Um, I have a box of manga that I just have to sell, so I could go look through that later. But as right now, I think I've been pretty successful. Uh, right now, I'm trying to sell these sealed Battle Royale volumes that I got from Darth Penn because I actually got a full set of Battle Royale. So I bought these because I didn't think I'd get one, but now that I got one, I can sell these sealed volumes. But it's like such a specific purchase and a lot for volume again. So I haven't had any luck yet, but hopefully that'll change. I don't know.
This is definitely not a shameless plug for the PromG manga swapping forum. I'm gonna create like a. Can you just create a website for used manga swap?
Honestly, like we got one for legal manga. We got to have one dedicated to the sub. It's just a link to the sub.
Yeah,
We
just
got to do it.
boom. There it is. So did you? And this is such a divisive question. You don't have to answer it one way or the other. But
Okay.
have you read scans in the past? Don't need to know about now, but have you ever read scans? Try to decide if you wanted to actually get something.
There, okay, so yeah, I did once. That was for Vinland Saga. And as I was reading, I couldn't get through the first chapter because that's when I realized I hate reading scans. Not just because it's immoral, but because I just can't look at my phone and read. Like I need to have a physical book to read in front of me. Yeah. And for a series like I love like Vinland Saga, it just goes to show that if I couldn't even get through the first chapter when I was reading on scans, like yeah, it's just not my thing.
Interesting. I mean, that's a really interesting point of view because some people read their scans on the computer, some people read them on their phone, and knowing
Hmm.
that you like to have a physical copy in your hands, I think is really really telling, and it shows that you actually care about the manga that you buy. And that's
Oh
not
yeah.
saying anything because I have 100% read scans. That's the only
Hmm.
way to
Yep.
read EPO. I we all know
Yep.
that I'm not shameless about it, but I do use ad blockers. So take
Me too.
that.
I
100%.
mean, everybody uses ad blockers.
I mean, if you're not using ad blockers, you're not playing the internet right.
That's right.
But it's always such an interesting question, and like I said, it is. I don't want to say divisive, but it's always an interesting question to see where people's stance is on some pirated scans. Because let's be real, they are ripped from the pages of a volume. There's a lot of people who say, "Well, I can't read such and such because it's not available in my country legally. This is how I have to read."
Yep.
And then the counter argument is, "Well, you don't have to read anything. You don't have to do anything." And Zach from Muchu Shelf
Of
has,
course.
he's given a ton of resources on how to find as much manga as you possibly can, either free or very very discounted. And I think that's really noble. I
Oh, for
think
sure.
I think in the future we're going to start to see a pretty interesting shift in how manga is A, translated, but B, distributed. I think we're going to see a really good change in people are going to want more series to be translated. Like Kingdom is one of the highest selling manga out there, and it's not even close to get it will probably exactly.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about this later, but yeah, go on with what you're saying.
It's what's you have access to enough people in the world that, and let's be honest here, the ad money that Shonen, like not Shueisha, is making, you can't pay somebody to translate something in English, and that's their exclusive job, is just translating manga in English.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
Scanlators can do it in like an hour from after a manga gets after it gets properly scanned online. It takes them an hour to get the English translations minimum, and they don't have
Yeah.
access to all the fancy, like they don't have access to the raws like actual other people would. If they if manga companies were to do that, I think we'd see a massive decrease in the amount of scans going out. I also think that if they, I'm knocking on wood here, if they increase their ads, like if they put more ads on the website, maybe I'm about to say something that I don't necessarily agree with personally, but in the middle of a chapter, properly placed at the actually at the beginning of the chapter, you can watch like a 10-second ad in front of each chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. I mean, something like that to help, again, pay for it to be translated, help give money to the creators, but you're also not charging anyone any. You're not charging, even if it's a minimal fee. There's some things that people just can't afford.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like there's so much room for it to grow as far as publishing, translating, and distributing goes. And it really blows my mind, honestly, that a series like Kingdom hasn't even gotten an official English release. Like, honestly, it's like such a popular series too. And there's such a demand for it. It's like,
So
why has
good.
this not happened?
It's
Yeah.
so good.
But like I have here, this is the self-print of it. Do you know anything about self-printing manga?
I do not know about self-printing.
So this is actually have an unboxing. I don't know if you've seen, but I have a self-print unboxing coming out tomorrow from when we're recording this. And you can buy certain series physically, self-printed through Blurb, basically. And there's a thread on the Manga Collectors subreddit. I'm assuming you're in it.
Yep.
But there's like a whole library of series like Kingdom, Holy Land, Homunculus, and stuff like that, where you can basically print it for like $5 a volume. The quality is like not there, so there's not really reason to do it for like an officially translated series because the quality is like exponentially better. But for someone like me who hates reading online, this was like the go-to option for me, honestly. And I want to know your thoughts on the morals of it because technically it is piracy, but again, it goes back to like I can't read this with the Japanese or like the French version. So either I read scans or I can read it with the self print. So I kind of want to hear what you have to say about that.
So first we have to talk about actual definition of morality. And that's a discussion for a completely different day, completely different podcast.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
for me, as somebody who reads scans, there's no difference to me in my mind between buying the $5 blurb because who's that money going to? Is the big question.
I guess just the company. Someone uploads the files and like does all the formatting and stuff, and then basically Blurb, I guess, puts it and binds it into a book that you can buy. So I assume it's going to Blurb.
Does it go to the author at all?
No, I don't think it does.
So then, again, with that line of questioning, and obviously I can twist it around to be however I want it to be. Questions that I have, right?
Mm-hmm.
With that line of questioning, if somebody else is making the money, the author is not seeing anything of it, is there any difference morally in this? We'll call it more, or is there any difference between that and reading a scan for free online? So no one, and you're using an ad blocker where you're reducing the amount of pay that's going to those people. Is there a difference?
No, I don't think there is personally. It's just a matter of do I read it on my phone or do I read it in a physical book?
And that's, I think that's a big question. And here's the other thing. If that were to come out in an official translation, would you buy this series?
100%, I would get rid of these self-print volumes, not only for the quality, but obviously just to support the manga industry because, it's what I make content about. It's what I enjoy. So
And that's
I have a duty to support it.
that's I think the big difference. There are people who would be like, even if I had the means to buy the manga, I wouldn't. But
Yeah.
if you had the means, you had the ability, and you said, I spent $5 on this, I'm willing to spend $10, you're basically paying 150% to get the manga that you realistically, let's be honest here. You bought the $5 volume, now you're paying $10.99, $9.99, depending on which one $10.99.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's changed so much since I was a kid. I still have like printings that were like $8.99 for a brand new volume.
Yep. I was looking at the Bleach singles. They're all like at half price books. They're like $3.99. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's it. That's amazing. But you're also willing to sacrifice your financial ability to repurchase a series legally if it ever comes down to that. I think that's the big difference. And I think morally, again, that's the other thing that you have to think about here. Everyone was raised differently in a different culture or a different mindset. So all of our morals are different. All that we can have is a simple guiding set of ideas. We all know that there's something that's fundamentally wrong almost every single time. We all know that murder is fundamentally
like reading Samurai 8. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Off limits.
no, that's again, there's not even a question on that one. That's just wrong on every single point. The artwork is
Mhm.
bland, writing was not great. That artwork was. Can we just take a sidebar and just talk about how shitty the artist isn't bad. There was just nothing unique about Samurai 8.
Yeah, it was a switch up from the Naruto like esque style. Like the characters look kind of similar. It's kind of that. Yeah, it was just not appealing to my eye at all.
Like it felt, and this is how I described it, and see if you can agree. Like it felt soft.
Yep.
It was very like you take a look at it and everything is round, everything is soft. There's almost even the hair, like which is normally spiky, it
Yeah.
like had curves at the very tip, like the person was trying to
Yeah.
be different.
Curved
And
edges.
I appreciate them trying to do that, but there was nothing unique about the characters. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like you look at them and you forget what they look like once you're done reading. Whereas let's use something like Fairy Tail, for example. The author, the illustrator for Fairy Tail 100 Years, let me double check this so I don't get my facts wrong. Quest, I believe there's a different illustrator for Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest. Yes, pretty sure. 95% sure. Yeah, it was written by Mashima, but it was illustrated by Atsuo Ueda, something like that.
Okay.
And there were myself and Manga Fairy both had the same consensus about Fairy Tail 100 Years. We were reading it and something felt off. The artwork looked almost exactly the same, but there was one thing that the new author was doing different that we couldn't place it on. And then I sat there and I messaged her, I was like, it's the eyes. You take a look at the eyes from Fairy Tail and Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, and it is completely different. And it makes the characters feel off. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There was still something memorable about that artwork, even if I didn't like it, even if it felt off. Samurai 8, there was nothing. I just went like, oh, it's soft.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the characters looked like. I don't remember what the fight scenes looked like. It was just soft.
Yeah, it's interesting they mentioned the eyes. Like that really does make all the difference, you know? The windows to the soul. Like it looks like a completely different character,
Oh,
to be honest. If you look like an old art style and a new art style for the same series, like yeah, it changes everything.
the biggest example that I can ever tell anyone is take a look at chapter 1 of Hajime no Ippo and take a look at Ippo's face, and then take a look at chapter 1304. The like if you get the chance to Google that, like do it, because the artwork from 1989 to 2020 is so incredibly different. And I actually talked about this with in a manga club that's actually going to have been published by the time that we do this one. That I did. Yeah, I know, right? I'm not gonna spoil it for you yet, but you guys need to go and watch this. It's with Beast Senpai. I know. He and I talked back and forth about some really interesting. We fought back and forth. But the artwork from Ippo, if you take a look at the very first thing, it's very soft. It's very like early, 90s, late 80s style, and then now it's much more shonen feeling. But he's also helped dictate the way that shonen has been drawn because people have drawn influence from him. He's affected the trends with his own artwork, which is really interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't even read or watched. I know it's like a super, super influential series.
It's the fact that a series can go on for 1,304 chapters and still be as popular as it is.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
Doing something right.
He is. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some definite weak arcs in there that I'm not the biggest fan of, but they build onto the story, except for Itagaki. Itagaki's a shit. I'm gonna be honest here. They have.
I'll take your word for it.
They have like 1 or 2 arcs that follow him, but I think back to the real question that wasn't sidebarred. To me, morally, there's no difference between paying somebody $5 to get an illegal scan of a manga and reading an illegal scan of a manga online.
Mm-hmm.
To me, there's no difference. It comes down to comfort and quality.
Yep, I agree. There is one series I'll mention that I'm currently reading scans for, and that's Jigan. I'm sure you've heard of that, right?
Actually, I was one of the first people. I didn't ever review it, but if you go through and look at my Reddit history, I was there from chapter 1, and I read this to somebody, but keep talking. I'll read you the guesses that I made all the way back when it like in chapter 3.
Okay, yeah. So I have a friend who I talk to on Instagram all the time, and he he reads manga in French, so he recommended this to me. I'm like, oh, you got to read this series, and I couldn't find any English scans. It was so hard finding English scans of that series for some reason,
Possible.
but I finally found them, and yeah, it's just an amazing series. So I have a guy working on a self print for that, kind of like what Kingdom does. He's working on like formatting and stuff like that. But
Do they?
yeah,
So I guess with that self print stuff, do they take the original cover art for it, modify it as well? Or do they create their own?
it is the original. Yeah, so like I don't know how well you can see, but it's like the original Japanese spine, the original cover, uh, Japanese text on it, like the barcode. You can see all that text is Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
I guess they're stealing artwork too.
I mean,
Cover artwork.
and I think that's kind of where the big thing comes down to. It's Jigan is a weird freaking series, though.
Oh, that's an understatement. Yeah.
Um, like the guesses that I made when it first came out, I think it was like chapter 2 or 3 when they first introduced the owl. I said the owl is gonna basically be turned into a bad guy. Like I was like the owl. It was something really really weird.
Don't spoil it because I'm at chapter like 30 something right now.
No. It's nothing that I've spoiled. It's just these are like the guesses that I made. God, how can
Okay,
I not
okay,
find
okay.
this?
I was
Okay.
like, does the owl really become the bad guy?
Chapter 3 of Jigan. If you're on chapter 30, these are guesses. This is anything that I know for sure. I said chapter 3 published 3 years ago, mind you. I said Poop Sniffer. What's the main character's name?
Oh, it's been so long since I've read. Uh, I don't know.
So I guess I was like, Poop Sniffer will never be tadpole free because the owl said your fight will be over. Not you will be cured. He said your fight will be over. So guess one was okay. He's going to be either killed or kill himself in the very end. That owl is a fractured animal themselves, or at least the reason that the fractured animals were released in the world. And this is chapter 3 guess. There is going to be at least 2 groups of the parafrogs, those who kill people, the parasite frog things, those who kill people, and those who sniff the poo. The sniffers will have a lot of infighting due to wanting all of it for themselves.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're an OG for the series. Yeah, I didn't
Like
know.
I said, it was a really weird series to read, but then I was like, I saw who wrote it, and I was like, all right, now I get why I don't quite like it all that much.
Who did write the series?
Was written by Kenshiro. I can never say the first name. Kenshiro and Kei Nishida.
Have they done anything that I might know?
Not really.
No. Okay.
But I was kind of like, it gave me a really strong your Gantz vibe, which was part of it. I was like, this feels a lot like Gantz.
Which is why I love it. Yeah.
Which is
You got to admit the artwork is so clean.
Dude, Gantz's artwork is good. Jigan's artwork is good. I couldn't get into it. I don't know why. I don't know why I couldn't get into it. I should have been able to.
Jigan is super edgy, especially in the beginning.
Gantz is super edgy all the way through. Oh, we're going to go rescue an old dude who's down by the railroad tracks. Now we're dead. Oh, looks like I'm going to be a serial... can't say the word because YouTube doesn't like those words, but what he does is not great.
Both interesting series.
It just like Death Note, always interest. Always leaves you wanting more and more. So what series are kind of on your radar right now? You just said that you picked up all of Battle Royale. You're kind of thinking about a few other things, but is there anything that's not rare that you want to pick
up? Again, I have a list because I was going to make a video on this too, so I guess I won't spoil it for that video.
Don't give me your top 5. Do not give me your top 5. Don't give me anything in order. Just tell me a few of them.
Yeah, that's the top 5. Okay, I'll give you. Okay, this one's obvious. So I said Boku no Aras. And another one that I've been kind of fiending after is Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin.
Interesting, Mobile Suit Gundam. Okay.
Yeah, I don't own any. The only mech series I own is Knights of Sidonia, I think. Looking at my shelves, I think that's all I have. And I have nothing other than that. I watch like Code Geass, but
Technically, Berserk is almost a mobile suit. Is almost a mech.
true, true. Yeah, I guess you could say that.
I mean, real loosely, real loose mech.
A bit of a stretch, but I agree.
I mean, just like I could go all day just making up random
Once
things about Berserk.
once the Berserker armor starts like shooting lasers and stuff, then I'll agree a little more. But
I
yeah, I see
mean,
where you're coming from.
the head cowl transforms. That's magical.
Yeah, yeah, got a good point. But Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin, it's it's not rare, but it's something I want to get before I feel like it'll go out of print. And the spines are just some of the best.
I mean, there's some spines that I really like simplistic spines. Like
Mhm.
I really like 20th Century Boys have such a simplistic but beautiful the OG, not the
The
new
OG,
printings.
not those gross omnibus. No,
Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the omnibuses. Just
I
really
think
don't like them.
the monster ones get a pass, but
But to me,
no.
they don't quite feel like an omnibus. There's the paper feels different and higher quality. I
Mhm.
think there's a difference between an omnibus, a 3-in-1, and what monster was.
Oh yeah.
Because a 3-in-1 is just. Mm, ugh.
And then you got the Berserk Bibles. That's like the next level.
Berserk Bibles. Let's not forget. Oh, what was
Death Note all in one.
Death Note all in one? You know exactly where I was going.
That is like a
13
brick.
volume.
Oh
I've
my
picked it
gosh.
up and I've held it. Like I thought about buying it, but it was like $50, and I was like, oh,
No.
because that spine would break like
Oh
instantly.
yeah. I can't even like the Gans omnibus. Like whenever I see them, they're all like curved up and cracked and stuff. It's like how do you expect the Death Note all in one to go? Honestly,
Worse, on fire. I expect itself to light itself on fire. Like grab a
honestly,
match, douse yourself in gasoline. There we go.
just combust.
I mean,
It's kind of
Combuskin
funny.
is my favorite Pokemon. No, Typhlosion. Typhlosion's
Yeah. Oh,
my
definitely,
boy.
definitely. Someone asked for my Q&A. I did a Q&A for my 500 subscriber giveaway. So I'm like, for an entry, you can ask me a question. And someone asked me, like, if you could take 3 volumes onto a deserted island, what'd you take? And I don't know, does the Death Note on one count for that?
Is it one book?
I I guess it's one book,
I mean,
but
let me phrase it this way: if somebody would ask you how many volumes of manga do you have on your shelf, would you count that as one book or 13?
I would count as 13. Yeah.
So then I think that's what you really have to ask yourself. What would you
Yeah.
count it as? If you were to count it, I'd be like, I have all. The way that I would phrase it is I'd say I have all of the Death Note series, but it's one volume.
I would probably count it as 13. Man, I was looking forward to that funny answer, but I guess I'll have to change it up.
Oh, what was the
No,
funny answer?
who knows? No,
I mean,
saying
I'd
I
use
take
I
that
take
brick.
3 volumes of Death Note. I take 3 volumes of Death Note just to use as a fire starter.
The- I was gonna, man, another one of my funny answers. I was gonna say, no, I have a copy of Samurai 8 if I need some firewood.
No, you
Something
don't.
that came up.
That thing's so soft and weak. I don't think it'd start a fire.
True, true.
Maybe it might be some good toilet paper.
That too. Yeah, we'll see.
Gotta think ahead. Gotta think ahead.
Hopefully,
So
I'm never in that situation, but
hopefully, no one ever puts a gun to my head and says, "You got 3 volumes. What are they?" I'm like, "Oh God, I don't know."
yeah.
We are actually nearing the end. Actually, no, we're not. Man, my timing got thrown way off.
Trying to
That's
get
my
rid
bad.
of me, huh?
Oh no,
No.
sorry. I was looking at the wrong clock. You know me. I'm such a strange person. I'm such a strange person. What's some advice that you would give to a newer MangaTube creator?
We kind of touched on it earlier, but something I'd say is, like we already said, start with the collection, start with the haul, and then kind of start to sprinkle in more personal content as you go. But another thing I've kind of touched on maybe once, I don't know if you were on when it was on a Dendro stream, but like don't get obsessed with buying manga just for content, because I feel like that's what a lot of people get carried up in, or they get caught up in, where it's like I need to buy this many volumes for this haul and I need to show off all these different series that I'm buying. When in reality, manga collecting is about collecting series that you personally care about, that you're going to reread and that you enjoy. So
And
going
I
away from that buying, quantity.
absolutely, like I said, I released a video on it this weekend where, you have an addiction problem. You may want to figure out a way to meter yourself with manga collecting because it
Mhm.
is straight up an addiction sometimes. And
Yeah.
that's not a good or a bad thing. It's just for me, I got addicted to finding a good deal. I'm like, oh man, this is a great deal. I'm gonna love
Yeah,
it, and I buy it without actually considering anything. And then I suddenly have 600 manga on my shelf, and like 200 of them are not great. I'm like,
yeah.
like you feel really deflated. You're like, ugh.
hmm I don't know if you saw on Twitter. I posted that picture of my manga collection from 2 years ago. Did you see that one?
I did. There was only like what 20 volumes, something. It was small. It was like a
Yeah,
shelf at most.
I only have like five of those volumes. That's like I was going to the half price books after work every single day and be like, I need to buy a new thing to get those endorphins flowing in my brain, you know? And I got rid of them because I wasn't interested. Like there's some Gundam series, some absolutely random series I picked up for no reason, just to buy for the sake of buying.
I'm gonna be honest. I've bought Rurouni Kenshin twice.
Yep,
I
I
bought
don't
I
understand
bought
that.
I bought the I bought half the series. Then I was like, nah, I don't want this. I sold it back. And then I was like, okay, it's a full series. I might as well try
Yeah,
again. And then I sold it because
that's
I couldn't make it past the first volume.
it's
I
kind of
got
funny. Like, go. What were you saying?
I got done with the first volume. I was like, this is not
That's
amazing.
that's how I was for One Punch Man. Actually, I bought the first two volumes and sold it like three different times
Like
before. Yeah,
it's just
I.
so weird. You're like, oh, I'm gonna love this. And you're like, okay, I didn't like that. And you see it again. You're
Mhm.
like, okay, I might be in a better headspace. Let's see if I like this. You buy it. And you're like, shit. Then you buy it the third time. And you're like, okay, listen, we can't keep doing this. We've
Sit
got
down,
to
have a
figure it
talk with
out.
myself.
Like, just sit down there. Like, look at yourself in the mirror, Chris, buddy.
Hands on the counter. Just
Hands
yeah.
just like look at your local half price bookstore and just say, do not let me buy anything that looks like these volumes in the future.
What it took actually was my friend who was buying manga, and then he decided, I don't even read manga that much, so he sold to me like the first 13 volumes of One Punch. I'm like, okay, this is the last time that I'm gonna buy this series. If I don't like it, I'm just, I'm done with it. And I didn't read the first like six volumes or whatever, but I picked up one day, like I was in like matchmaking for an Overwatch game, and I started reading volume 8 where the anime picked off after season 1. Fell in love with it,
Yeah, you're
one
like,
of my
oh,
favorite
okay.
series.
You're like, oh, okay. I understand the hype now.
I think it just had like a rough start for me personally, but then once it gets going, it's an amazing series. I'm glad
It's
I bought it for my friend.
pretty good. I think, and this is, I like Mob Psycho as an anime a little bit. I think Mob
hmm
Psycho is superior anime. I'm gonna get roasted for that, just like all my opinions. 'Cause all of my opinions are so wrong. But yeah, Mob Psycho is an amazing anime, and I think one actually has a really good grasp of humans as a character.
Yeah, I think so too. I watched a little bit of the Mob Psycho anime, and I don't know why I stopped watching it, but it was really enjoyable. I see what you mean about like having grasp on characters.
It's because you read them, you're like, okay, this person's relatable. I can see what their struggles are in life. I can see all of this. Then you keep going, and you're like, oh, okay, and they progress the character. He doesn't just
hmm
leave them down there. They change and they grow. Unlike certain characters, and they don't get worse, which is another good. They don't become worse
Yeah,
unless they're supposed to.
I'm really impressed with how he's taken Saitama in One Punch Man because you're given this character who is like dumb OP, but he's having these like crises of I'm too powerful, and then kind of more different things of like self reflection when you go into season 2 in the manga. So I just think it's really interesting. Yeah, like what you said, he has a good grasp on developing characters like that.
Which I can't write a character to save my life, but I am looking for somebody
Oh
to
yeah,
help me
neither.
write a movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So my buddy, I'm trying to convince him that we need to do a crowdfunding. He created his own tokusatsu Power Ranger style character,
hmm
Henshin. And I want to make it. I think we can make. I'm helping him do right. I'm helping him do a bunch of stuff. I'm like, dude, we need to just make a movie. We need to make a badass 2 hour, like 45 minutes to an hour and a half movie, and just do some craziness with it. See if we can get a big name director.
Oh
Go
yeah,
nuts. Great. I have
yeah.
no
That's
experience.
that's the thing. Like I have friends who talked about in the past, like, oh, I want to make this short film or I want to like write a movie. And all it really takes is obviously you have some knowledge of what you're doing, but really just going out and trying it is like such a big part of it.
Oh yeah, hands down, like,
hmm
hands down. All right, so we are nearing the end. officially,
Yeah.
because my sense of timing is super off. But
Me too. Me too.
here are the two questions: the one serious, the one not so, like the one random question of the day.
All right.
So the big actual real question is, if you were to tell somebody what to look for when collecting manga, what would you tell them? Like, just simple, small little tips.
So like manga collecting tips for just a beginner.
Just a beginner, somebody who's like looking to buy their first few volumes.
I would say again, don't get book drunk. Just that high off buying stuff, whether it be manga or just like buying stuff online. It is an addiction, so you can't let that get control of you, and really focus on things that you enjoy. If you're not enjoying a series, you don't need to feel the need to keep buying it, and nor should you. And yeah, I mean, something that's really helped me is even as I continue to collect, I've been collecting for like 2 years now, seriously, and just taking a look back at my shelves and saying, will I read this again? Or do I plan on ever revisiting this? And if the answer is no, I'll get rid of it. That money can be used for something that I do enjoy. And for a series that I do plan on revisiting or keeping, just has a closer connection to me personally. So I'll keep that in my collection. But
Oh,
just keep constantly curating, filtering out stuff that you don't plan on reading, and yeah, keep the wealth flowing in for new stuff.
okay, so keep a job. You heard,
Yeah, and
you heard,
and get a
Chris.
job.
Get a job.
Get a
Get a
job. Don't
job.
don't sell your kidneys to sustain this hobby. You got
No,
to get a job.
you got to get a job. Though you can sell your liver because it is the only organ in the body that successfully grows back. So you can sell a piece of your liver.
Does it really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, so I mean, if we open up, like, get a little zipper in your back, you could start selling your liver.
Oh,
Perfect plan.
now I
Nothing
know what
could
I'm doing
go.
this weekend. I know what I'm doing.
Nothing could go wrong. All right. And then, what is your rainy day album?
Oh man, hold on. Let me pull up Spotify. I don't know if this is how this works, but could you tell me yours?
Yeah, absolutely. So mine is actually by a band called Aaron West, the Roaring Twenties. It's Have you ever heard of the band called the Wonder Years?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the lead singer Soupy has a side project called Aaron West in the Roaring Twenties, where he created a persona of a guy who's having a really, really shitty like. It's
Hmm.
called "We Don't Have Each Other" as an album, and it just goes through a guy. He is getting a divorce. His dad died, and his wife had a miscarriage. He writes from that perspective, and it's super depressing, and it
Yeah.
works perfectly with like a fall rainy day.
Yep. I get that. I'll have to check that out. Send me the name of the album after, so I
Will
don't
do.
forget it.
Will do.
I'd say it's kind of split between two for me. So Radiohead, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The Bends. I don't. There's some songs on that where I'll just listen to that and just kind of this melancholy sadness, like "Fake Plastic Trees." What's that song? Hold on, I'll find it. There's like some really good moods. "Wish I Was Bulletproof." Like just some really mellow songs that I think would be good to listen to on a rainy day. And the other is actually a newer album that just came out. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Young Lean.
I am not familiar with Young Lean. That is.
Yeah, you can kind of guess the genre. He's like a Swedish cloud rapper and one of my favorite artists of all time. He came out with an album I think like a month ago, and there's like so many diverse sounds. There's like aggressive sounds and also like these sad mellow sounds. He has a song with Blackpink, who's like a pop star from back in the day.
Mhm.
And yeah, just a lot of mellow songs about his personal life and his emotions. And yeah, those are probably my two albums I pick.
Interesting. All right, I can respect that. But we are at the end of the episode, so let everyone know. I know this is recorded in advance, but let everyone know what you kind of think you have coming up, where they can find you, all that good YouTube.
Yeah, so hopefully by the time this goes up, I'll have some more skits. I got one planned, like how it feels buying rare manga. That should be a really fun one to record. Again, some manga reviews coming out. I have the Gantz review, hopefully Good Night Pun Pun review, maybe Blade of the Immortal, and just the monthly hauls and reading logs. A lot of fun to make, and I know you guys that watch my channel really enjoyed those, so keep an eye out for those.
All right. Uh, Chris will be linked in the description down below, so you can find his channel directly there. You can find his Instagram, you can find his Twitter, but he's more active on Instagram, I think, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
100% more active on Instagram. I got to remember all these things. It's a hard part of being me. But you guys know where to find me because you're watching this, you're listening to this right now. So if you haven't, go subscribe to Chris. Go subscribe to me if you haven't yet. I don't freaking know why you're waiting. And for everyone, new and old, welcome and welcome back. It's your boy Lohali, and I will see you next video.